All right. Looks like they might have fixed some stuff over there in the House. Representative Stephanie Jo Mickelson is debating on this. Let's see if we can listen in a little bit.
Private business. And so you put a business and their reputation at stake with this bill. It's not about people having personal medical freedom. I'm all for personal medical freedom. What I am concerned about is that personal medical freedom then puts other people at risk, businesses at risk, their reputations at risk. There was also a comment made about the American with Disabilities Act. In the case of an American with disabilities, that is not going to be an event where you're going to infect or get other persons sick from your condition. It's simply going to be a situation where you have to allow those people in, and that's not a problem. But when you're talking that you can't require them to wear a mask, you can't require them to leave, because it says clearly if you're a ticketing agent, if you're a sports venue, whatever, you have to take anybody. Think about if you're in a school and you got a kid that comes with lice, and this could be the same for in a movie theater or in a sporting event, and you got a kid that you can clearly see has lice. You have no way to turn them back, send them home, and have them have some sort of treatment, because it says you can't make them have treatment. Well, I guess along the vein of it's your body, it's your choice, it's my business, it's my reputation, it should be my choice. Your medical freedom is yours until the moment that you infringe upon someone else's right. And in the case of owning a business, you're the one, it's your insurance that has to pay if there's a huge event. It's your business that may end up out of business because you've had a super spreader at your event. So I'm all for having medical freedom, but it stops with businesses being able to make the decision. It's like the no shirt, no shoes, no service. We get to have an opportunity to deny access to people if we believe that they could cause problems for us and for our businesses. And with that, I would urge your no vote on this.
Further debate on the motion. The gentleman from Levin.
Mr. Speaker, to debate for the bill.
Gentleman has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good ladies and gentlemen of the body. I think in a very logical sense, if we're looking at and discussing the topic of super spreader events, is it appropriate, or is it even something that an average business that is open to and providing customer service, whether it's providing goods or services, that they would see somebody come in and they would ask the question of every single patron that enters that business, I wonder if that person has chickenpox, or I wonder if that person has measles. You hear somebody cough and you wonder, I wonder what communicable disease that they have. I don't think that that's, we live in a world of sickness and disease, right? And somehow, after thousands and thousands of years of humanity being here, our population worldwide is standing at approximately 9 billion people. So I think that the sickness and the communicable disease thing is a negligible argument, because it's a part of life. It's always been a part of life. It's part of what makes us human. We have immune systems, and those immune systems, by and large, regulate. I think specifically what this bill addresses is the issue of the COVID vaccine mandates that were propagated against many sectors of American society following COVID-19 in 2020. And when the vaccine became available in 2021, federal workers, people that worked for the federal government in other capacities, whether they were contractors, local governments all across the United States started mandating that this vaccine was to be taken without years worth of double-blind clinical trials. It was mandated to pregnant women, which by many in the industry had concluded that there was never a time in human history that vaccines were mandated for pregnant women. That was completely unheard of. I would like to cite that there is a thing called VAERS, or the Vaccine Adverse Events Reporting System. There's a reason that that particular system exists. It exists because vaccines, by and large, are not 100% safe. They're not 100% effective. The system exists for reporting because people have been injured, they have been hurt, their lives have been changed In fact, some people have been killed because of this vaccine or other vaccines, not specifically to just single out the COVID-19 vaccines. At the end of the day, the government's responsibility is to uphold the individual liberty of the citizen. And we must remember that our personal liberty ends when it starts to infringe upon the rights and the liberty of another. And while the government does not have the responsibility of mandating a medical treatment for somebody, no matter what that is, there is not the responsibility or the right for a private business to mandate a medical treatment or intervention upon somebody that comes into their place of business, whatever that business happens to be. I would also argue that by and large, the vast majority of businesses in the United States are not run by health professionals. They do not have a certified or licensed health professional on staff to say, well, depending upon this sickness or this illness, you should turn away this and this person, and or you should require a certain type of procedure to be undertaken by your patrons if you want or allow them to shop here. So by government not mandating, but allowing private business to mandate something that directly could impact the very life or the health of an individual is government mandate de facto through the private business, and that's fundamentally wrong. And to that end, I would urge everybody to support this, because without our bodily autonomy, we have no other rights to ourselves. Thank you.
For debate on the motion, gentleman from 1.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To debate the motion.
Gentleman has the floor.
So when the founders finished, when the ink hadn't quite dried on the Constitution, a group of people came to them and they were concerned that some of the rights that individuals had weren't specifically addressed. That's what gave us the original Bill of Rights, which was originally 13 amendments. It was pared down to 10. Madison himself, Hamilton, and several others did not want that Bill of Rights because they were concerned that people would prioritize the rights, or that they would stipulate that since a particular right wasn't listed, then you don't have it. I think they were prescient in that concern. But further than that, I want to meet the person who can diagnose measles when a person walks in their door of the business of into their business. Secondly, I have, as a business owner, sent people home when they came to work sick. I didn't mandate that they get a vaccine or a particular treatment. I just sent them home. And that is not addressed in this bill. It's not reduced. It's not contemplated. What this bill does is say that if you are a place of business or a school or something else, and you see someone who has this problem, you can send them home. What you can't do is mandate the treatment that they receive for that condition. Let's not mix those two up. We're talking about simple bodily autonomy. And if we're to prioritize rights, I would aver that is where it starts. It starts with the individual. Let's keep that in mind. This bill deserves a green light. Don't make it say something it's not saying. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
For debate on the motion, lady from 18.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To debate against the bill.
Lady has the floor.
Okay, very
Thank you, Mr.
good.
Speaker. Just wanted to respond to some of the things
I
I
can only
heard.
hear so many
As has been said,
Democrats
there are no
go against these bills. Very good. I believe Brian Allman is with us. Let's bring Brian in here. Brian, good to see you.
Well, hello, Matt. How are you?
Sorry, we catch him mid prep there. Yeah, let's keep that debate up on the side. We'll just keep watching what they go over there too. The argument that Rubel is going to make are the arguments that we heard all through the pandemic. So I'm tired of hearing it, and I'd rather not go there again. But this bill here, I mean, this is an update to the Coronavirus Stop Act, and it does cover a lot more than just coronavirus. And so that's what's getting some people like Stephanie Joe a little upset and that sort of thing. But I think Cornell hit it on the head right there at the end. If you're an employer and you encounter somebody who's sick, you tell them to go home. Right?
Yeah. That's, the way we used to do things before we decided government has the authority to, lock us in our homes. And, remember that one of the things that happened in 2020, 2021 is that a lot of private businesses engaged in mask and then vaccine mandates But the reason they did that, some of them because they were true believers. Yeah, we need to do this. But others because they feared government intervention. They feared
Yes.
coercion from the government. They were afraid that if they didn't implement these things, then either the state or federal government or local health districts were going to come down on them and sanction them and put them out of business. So you take government out of the equation, and then that's going to improve things dramatically.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is a great bill. I mean, this is the thing that like we've been fighting for a long time, and there's been versions of this bill trying to make it through. It already made it through the Senate, so, which is always the hardest hurdle for something like this. So, as much as we're going to see debate on this, I don't particularly see this thing failing at this point.
That was pretty short debate for Representative Rubel.
Yeah, I mean, I think she knows where the wins are. She just needed to get on record for that. Here's the sponsor of the bill. It looks like he's going to close it out here. We do want to make sure. We'll keep it up here and see if we can watch the vote live. But earlier, just real quickly about the wildfire. We opened the show where we caught it right at the moment they were talking about that wildfire bill. And Josh Tanner called it his favorite bill of the session. Yeah, the best bill of the session. Well, I mean, is this something that you followed? This whole idea of the feds not taking care of our wildfires properly when they're inside of the Idaho borders on federal lands?
Mm-hmm. That's been a big concern. I'm definitely not an expert in wildland management or fire management, but I have watched people who know more about it talk about it. Dar Moon, Idaho GOP chairwoman Dorothy Moon's husband, he is very much aware of these things, and he did a talk in the legislature in an interim committee last fall about the fires and the problems they had with the federal government. Bringing jurisdiction down to the state level instead of relying on some federal government agency to decide how we're going to handle this. They don't necessarily have the same stake in it that we do. Even though it might be federal lands, it's still our lands in Idaho, and it borders our farms and pastures and places that we live and places that we like to go visit. So it's it's very much should be our responsibility to take care of those things, and I think the state would do a better job than the federal government.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're here, and to be able to maintain our own lands quickly and efficiently is best. They always say local control, right? Local control. Okay. Representative Beiswinger still closing out debate on this bill. We'll keep tabs on that. One thing we can step away from it for a second. I want to get your take on this. There's a House concurrent resolution that passed the House. It's now in the Senate, and this deals with House Concurrent Resolution 17, dealing with just addressing violence, political violence that has been popping up in the state of Idaho. And we got the vote coming here. All right, let's listen to the vote, and then we'll jump into 17.
And
things are very fluid right here. Oh yeah, right out the gate. So interesting though.
Voted?
Yep.
Does any member change their vote? Clerk will rock the machine and report the pairs.
And the usual suspects
votes aye,
joining the
Wheeler
Democrats.
47 ayes, 23 nays, majority having voted.
Although I'm surprised to see Manwaring on the other side, on the green side of that one.
He's always a little bit unpredictable.
He is unpredictable sometimes, yeah. But McCann, Souter, yeah.
All right, that goes to the governor's desk, and I believe that's veto-proof, just barely though.
Yeah, well,
it wasn't on the Senate side.
It wasn't on the Senate side, correct? But hopefully, I think at this point he'd be a fool to go against this. I mean, the winds of change, MAHA, anti-pandemic stuff. It's where we're at right now.